Hello, here I am at tea time again. I have an English teacup. I'm holding it up like now, and in it is English tea. It's an old cup that I have had in my family for many years. And I used it today because I wanted to think about family. I'll explain about that in a little while. I have a few announcements today, and then I want to comment on the topics that we've been looking at in the last couple of weeks. First, if you wish to have a statement of accomplishment, please have all your assignments in a week from today, midnight, California time, on April 4th. So that's the first very important announcement a number of people have been asking. Other people asked if all of the materials were up, and they are. All of them are up on the MOOC now, and I want to draw your attention particularly to the 4 presentations that are the very end of the MOOC. They are interviews with Iman Bibars from Egypt, Ana Maria Enriquez from Latin America, particularly Colombia, and Musimbi Kanyoro from Kenya. Musimbi is also the current president of the Global Fund for Women and brings a broad perspective, including a perspective from her home country, which is Kenya. And the 4th presentation is me talking about my experience with the women's movement and various comments about the MOOC and my thoughts for the future as a New Zealander who has lived in America for many years. A few other announcements. This class will end within the next week, and we will put the class up again, I hope and plan, in July and August of this year, 2015. We'll let you know what the dates will be for the next class. A number of people have asked about this. We hope that next summer in California, winter in the Southern Hemisphere, next July and August, we hope to put up a Spanish version of this class, along with the Chinese and English versions. We're working on the Spanish version now, and we look forward very much to putting it up and hoping to have that up in July and August of next summer. And it's summer in America, winter in the Southern Hemisphere. Anyway, we've had a number of interactions on Piazza in Spanish, especially most recently in the last few days. We've had people interacting and discussing on the forums in Spanish, and that's delightful, and we're very happy that you are doing that. Now we hope that you will access the Spanish version in a few months. And as I said, we'll be sending out notices about this over the next month or two. I'd like to speak a little bit about the topic of this last week, aging. We've come to the end of the course, and we're discussing the end of life, aging, and death, people facing death, and what that means for women in particular who are not only living longer than men all around the world, but also facing aging in very large numbers. The demography of this age group is fascinating now. We're going to have lots and lots of older people, and most of them are going to be women. Well, as you gather, this is a topic after my own heart. I'm certainly in that aging group, and I have been very reminded of that in the last few weeks. My only sibling, my brother, died about 10 days ago. He died peacefully with his wife and his son and me at his bedside. But a death in the family, as no doubt everyone knows, does set you thinking about what you're going to do with the rest of your life, looking back on a life and hoping that it has been full and fulfilling, but certainly a time of reflection. Aging. I think it's the most challenging time of life, and my mother, when she got into her 80s, said that to me as well. She felt it was a very challenging time, a time of loss, but also to some degree a time of adventure. For me, I feel similarly. It is a time of loss. Friends and families die or move away to be with their children, go into nursing homes, have various destinations. And so one loses family and friends. And you lose capacities, not able to see as well, not able to hear as well, perhaps, and certainly not able to do some of the physical challenges that one grew used to doing throughout one's life. So things change. At the same time, I think the perspective from aging is interesting. It's a very rich time of life and challenging. For me, being involved with this MOOC has been a very interesting activity that has had a very high learning curve for me. Thanks to Kevin Hsu, who's the technical person with this MOOC, I've been able to do things on the MOOC that I certainly would not have been capable of organizing myself. But I've learned so much, even to the point where I'm actually recording this tea time all by myself in my office at home on my computer. More than a year ago, I wouldn't have thought I would be able to figure out how to do that. But anyway, I do it, not perfectly, but I'm doing it. So aging is not only a difficult time in many ways, but very much a challenging time. And I'm giving significant thought to how I want to spend the next few years of my life, if I'm lucky enough to be healthy throughout those years. One of those activities will certainly be a continuation of the MOOC next year, in the next few months, in July and August, and hopefully next year as well, and putting it up in Spanish and continuing to put it up in English and Chinese. I wanted to bring your attention to some materials that we've included. At least we've included the links to these materials in on the companion website, internationalwomenshealth.org. We've done this before. As you know, that is a place where you can go to have access to many rich materials, information from various sources. Specifically, we have put up some links to information about the increasing concern in India, and now a public concern in India, about violence against women. There's been much written about this in the press, the international press, and also the press in this country, in the United States. And it's clear that women's groups and others have become tremendously activated and active about this issue of violence against women because of some horrendous events that have happened in that country recently. As we all know from the week that we spent reading and discussing violence against women, it's a problem that occurs everywhere. And it is an issue that I believe is absolutely central to any discussions of women's health and human rights. So there is a link to some materials about those issues, particularly relating to India, on our website, internationalwomenshealth.org. We've also put a link up about the event in Afghanistan of a young woman who was stoned by a mob of men because she was accused of certain crimes that were not at all valid. She died. That also has received a lot of press, and we've provided a link about that very sad event. Something I'd like to remind you of is that we still have one more set of Talk About sessions that are coming up this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. You can join. You can join some Talk About sessions to meet people from all over the world in small groups to discuss the issues of this class. I'm going to drop in on a couple of those sessions, and maybe you'll be in one of them, and if so, I'd love to meet you face-to-face. I'll be dropping into sessions on Saturday of this weekend, and I hope you will too. Again, that involves going to Talk About, and there is instruction on the MOOC telling you how to participate in those activities. With regard to people coming together and interacting around these issues, I had an extremely interesting experience yesterday where I joined by Skype a group of people in Sweden associated with the Karolinska Institute there, a young woman who had taken this course almost a year ago, the first time we gave the course, and she ended up volunteering for us. Her name is Karin. And she returned to Sweden and gathered around her with other people who now are leading the program as well, to set up a very exciting course using this MOOC, this online course, as the central resource. And then they've gone beyond that and invited speakers, local speakers, to talk about some of the issues, to relate these issues to the Swedish situation. And they've created a very exciting course, and about, I think, almost 100 people have participated in the course. Well, on Skype yesterday, I met with some of these young people. They were in a room, and they had a few questions for me, and I had a few questions for them. And I learned about this terrific outcome of the MOOC in Sweden. They've used the materials tremendously usefully to create a course that not only introduces people to global women's health and human rights, but also raises the local the local experience of Swedish women. I have also had a correspondence with someone from Turkey who would like to put the course up in Turkey and do something similar in the sense of relating this course not only to people interested in international and global women's health and human rights, but perhaps issues that will relate particularly to that country. I'd be interested to know if any of you have formed groups and are doing this kind of thing in your countries. I've asked the women from Sweden if they'll write up their experience, and we'll put it on internationalwomenshealth.org so that you can all read about what they have been able to do making use of this MOOC. Well, let me have another sip of my English tea from my little old English teacup. My brother and I used to have tea together using these cups. Thank you very much for taking this course. It's been fun. I haven't been as active as I have in previous times that the course has been given, but hopefully that will change next time. I will have more time and be much more active in the MOOC. But it's been marvelous, and I continue to think it's a very exciting experience for me, and I hope for you. So thank you for participating, and we hope to see you at some future time and continue to hear from you on the discussion forums as you wish. Goodbye.